3 lenses, 4 lenses. Some phones even have 5. Camera companies keep slapping more and more glass on the back of your $1,200 flagship smartphone, and most people have absolutely no idea what any of them actually do. So today, we're fixing that, because once you understand this, you'll never take a bad photo again. Welcome back. If you're new here, we break down tech and consumer electronics so you can make smarter buying decisions. Hit subscribe because this one's going to change how you use your phone. Here's the thing about smartphone cameras that nobody talks about. Physics is working against them. A professional digital single-lens reflex, or simply the DSLR, and also the mirrorless camera, the kind photographers and content creators spend thousands of dollars on, all work because of one key thing. They all have a big sensor and a long lens that can bend and focus light in incredible ways. Now, your phone is limited in size. It's maybe 7 millimeters thin. You literally cannot fit a single versatile lens in there. So engineers got creative. Instead of one lens that does everything, they gave you multiple specialized lenses where each one is a tiny expert. Let's check what each lens does. First up, the main camera. This is your workhorse. It's the biggest sensor on the back of your phone, usually somewhere between 50 and 200 megapixels on modern flagship devices like the iPhone 16 Pro, Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, or the Google Pixel 9. This lens handles the majority of your photography: portraits, street shots, food pics, everything you post to Instagram or use in your content creation workflow. It has the widest aperture, meaning it lets in the most light, which is why your main lens performs best in low-light situations. When you're shooting in a dark restaurant or at a concert, your phone is almost always defaulting to this sensor. Think of it as the 50-millimeter equivalent, the closest to how your eye actually sees the world. Another type of lens on your phone is the ultra-wide lens. This lens has a dramatically shorter focal length. We're talking 120 degrees or more of field of view. For context, your main camera might capture around 70 to 80 degrees. This is the lens you want when you're shooting real estate photography, wide landscapes, architecture, or you're trying to fit 8 people into a tiny group photo in a tiny apartment. Content creators love the ultrawide for dynamic, immersive shots. It makes everything feel bigger and more cinematic. If you've ever seen those dramatic skateboarding or travel vlogs where the world looks massive, that is the work of the ultra-wide lens. However, there are trade-offs. This lens slightly distorts edges, and it performs worse in low light because the sensor is typically smaller. Some phones have a third lens. Okay, this is the lens that separates a $400 budget phone from a $1,200 flagship, the telephoto camera. A telephoto lens uses optical zoom, meaning it uses actual glass and optics to magnify your subject, not just digital cropping. Why does that matter? Because digital zoom is basically just blowing up your image and throwing away pixels. It looks terrible. Optical zoom preserves every detail. High-end phones like the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra pack in a 200x zoom, though realistically 10x to 30x optical zoom is where photos stay sharp and usable. This is your go-to for sports photography, wildlife, candid portraits where you want distance, or even just reading a menu across a restaurant without getting up. The telephoto is also the secret weapon for portrait mode. Shooting a face with a longer focal length compresses depth in a flattering way, and it's literally why professional photographers use 85mm or 135mm portrait lenses. Some premium smartphones, especially the latest Android flagships and iPhones, are now including a Periscope telephoto lens. A periscope lens uses mirrors to fold the optical path sideways inside the phone, letting engineers fit a much longer focal length in that same thin body. It's genuinely brilliant engineering, and it's why some phones can optically zoom to 10x without a giant camera bump. Then there's the depth sensor or time of flight sensor that some phones include. This one doesn't take photos you'll see directly. Instead, it maps the 3D depth of a scene in milliseconds. It's what powers accurate background blur and portrait mode, better AR experiences, and faster autofocus. It's working behind the scenes every single time you blur a background. Here's what makes modern smartphone photography genuinely impressive and honestly competitive with entry-level mirrorless cameras for everyday use: computational photography. These aren't just lenses, they're lenses working together with AI-powered software. When you tap the shutter button, your phone is sometimes pulling data from multiple lenses simultaneously, combining them to reduce noise, improve dynamic range, and sharpen detail. Google's Pixel phones built their entire reputation on computational photography. Apple's Photonic engine, Samsung's Pro Visual engine. This is where the real innovation is happening in consumer electronics right now, and it's accelerating fast. So what does this mean when you're shopping for your next smartphone upgrade? If you're a travel photographer or content creator, prioritize optical zoom range and ultra-wide quality. If you shoot a lot in low light, focus on main sensor size and aperture. If you care about video, look for phones with strong stabilization across all three lenses, not just the main one. Don't just count the lenses on the back of the box. Ask what each one actually does, because a 3-lens system done right beats a 5-lens system with cheap hardware every single time. That's the full breakdown: main camera, ultra-wide, telephoto, Periscope, and depth sensor. You now know more about smartphone camera systems than most people who review them. If this helped, smash that like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. I'll see you in the next one.